Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm John Sable, and today I look pretty ridiculous. But it's for good reason, because we're checking out the Season 3 build of iRacing. So, without further ado, let's get to some driving. Damn gloves.
Do you have a butt kicker or transducer that's not getting the job done? Is it shaking to just the low-end sounds? What if it shook when it was supposed to? SimVibe is an advanced multi-dimensional audio-based feedback software that utilizes 1 to 8 bass transducers and provides the correct physics-based vibrations throughout your simulator. This can greatly enhance immersion and drivability. All you need is one shaker, an extra sound card, and SimVibe software. To check it out for yourself, go to simexperience.com and then click on products and then SimVibe.
So, here we are at Imola, and for this little Season 3 preview, figure let's start with the best at the beginning, at least in my opinion, because I love this track. Hey look, a Ferrari. Never thought we'd see one of those in iRacing. I'm sure I'm going to have to pay him about 10 cents just for mentioning their name for licensing. Hey look, another Ferrari. There was no 10 cents. Autodromo Internazionale Enzo E. Dino Ferrari. Let's do this. So before get out here and kind of do the typical, let's see how fast we can go and give you that idea, since there's already been a fair amount of cover of this track from iRacing already. Figured to take a little bit of a slower lap around here and just kind of take the whole track in, because it is really a beautiful track and another excellent job by iRacing. First off, come over here and I love these details. Amazing little tribute to Senna, as many people know, where he lost his life here in 1994. And just pretty great little tribute there. I'm sure all things that were actually at the track when iRacing came and scanned it. Got some flags over there on the other side of the track. If you caught the release notes, iRacing mentioned how you can now bring debris out onto the track. So, let's try that out. Let's see what that's like when I come back next lap, because there's a good little dust cloud back there. Also want to point out, got the iRacing Fast Dash app running, and actually going to do a video here in the future showing off how I did this little setup. It's actually a very down and dirty version, and hoping to do a little more a fancier version in the future. Maybe one with some Z1 dashboard as well. So here we go, on with the lap. And one thing I want to mention, I always love with iRacing, they do this with all their tracks, but I feel like other sims can learn. I love that they use the actual signs that are there. So that's a sign, that's a track, Imola logo. For some reason, that Imola logo is different from that Imola logo. Maybe they're in the middle of rebranding, I don't know. But you see other titles, and it says the name of the game, and it's like, I know what I'm playing. I clicked on the icon. So I like that iRacing always goes, and it's all exactly how it is when they go and scan and take pictures. And they don't go and put a bunch of like iRacing signs and banners up. I know I'm playing iRacing. I don't need to be reminded. And always like that iRacing does that, and I wish other titles would do more of that. Less self-promoting. I'm here, I'm playing. You did it. Something else I want to point out. These trees. These are, iRacing working on some new trees, and this is a good example of some 3D ones here. And I have to say that the trunks look really good. I'm pretty impressed with them. The foliage on top, I'm not quite fully convinced yet. I do think there are still other titles that do that look better, but I do like the trunk. And just something interesting to note, no 1X for running off over here. Something maybe to exploit. I will say these trees right here look awesome. Those ones, they totally got me. So I think they did a great job on that. I do have the 2-pass trees on. pretty much got almost all the graphics maxed out here. We'll see how much of that translates over to YouTube, since YouTube likes to compress the hell out of these videos, but yeah, it's very pretty. And now we head down over to some apartments, and I think while we're here, let's do a little more off-roading. Let's get these tires good and full of gravel, so when I come back here next time by, I have to deal with that. Let's run her out a little bit. $207, hauling the mail. Of course, this is just the baseline setup, so I'm sure you guys who are actually very good at the F1 car will go much faster. Oh, by the way, who's responsible for that? Like, that's hilarious. I want to know the story behind that. Are they doing double-decker bus races here? So as for the track itself, you know, it looks great. I have to say, I love Imola. Imola is by far the best of the two F1 tracks in Italy. Monza, I could go without it. It's not my favorite, but man, this track is so much fun to drive around. It does have chicanes, but like, they're good chicanes. They're unique. They have character. I feel like they do set up for some passing opportunities. Maybe not quite as much in a modern F1 car, but you know, maybe in a GT car, as we exploit those track limits a little bit. I saw some talk during the development of this track that iRacing was talking about maybe opening up some of those track limits a little bit to match up with like the real world tracks. Let's see if we see any dust there. And I think it's a really good idea because, you know, there's so much pavement these days that, you know, these series just run all over it, and then for us to have to come here and not be allowed to do the same, that just doesn't feel right. I mean, let's be fair, it's not right to begin with that there's that much runoff, but you know, safety and all that. If I had it my way, I'd like to see grass like that around the entire track, followed by some pavement in case you get it wrong, you can catch yourself. But anyway, if the real world guys are gonna go and run as part of the normal racing line, then I feel like we should be able to too. So I'm definitely all for iRacing opening that up. I mean, the biggest example I can think of is Spa. I mean, Spa, you watch those guys on TV and they're running way off at corner exits. And I'd love to be able to do the same thing here in iRacing, or any other sim for that matter. Okay, so let's see if I can fire up a decent lap here. So I'm gonna try to be quiet. Let's see what we can do. Another corner that you can kind of cut, which is nice. Eighth gear, 201, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I got to 8 there. Gotta be a little careful with throttle there. Car steps out. Love these corners. You can really attack it. A little bit of bounce over those curves. Definitely not the most compliant setup. But this is baseline. Got a little light through there. I'm pretty terrible at this section. I know I can definitely get a lot more to that first corner. That's a lot of fun. Big speed, big attachments. And there is a 124.3 around Imola, and I'm sure that lap will be destroyed within about 5 minutes of the new build being up. But for the purpose of this video, I think that will do. So with that said, let's move on to our next topic. Okay, welcome back, and welcome to something entirely different. I mean, I don't think we could get any more opposite from what we were just doing with an F1 car at Imola. Now we are in a NASCAR at South Boston. Hell, everything's changed so much, I even changed out the rims. Went from the Thrustmaster Ferrari F1 rim over to their, well, it's still Ferrari, but it's the Evo 599 30 centimeter diameter Alcantara rim, which, you know, these stock car guys now, they've gotten a lot smaller rims, and they use the Alcantara or Tara. I know you guys will correct me in the comment section. But yes, so why are we driving a Sprint Cup car around South Boston? Because I don't know if we're even hitting 100 miles per hour on the straights. Well, we're doing so because both of these have been refreshed in the Season 3 build. So let's start with the car first. So the Ford Fusion has, like the other two makes, the Chevy and the Toyota for the Sprint Cup Series cars, it's pretty much been brought up to 2016 spec, but the Fusion had a little further to go because in the real world, the Fusion got essentially a whole new body this year. It's very noticeable in the nose, and even down the side of the car had some changes. I think the back bumper is the same. But yeah, this year it got a much more rounded nose, and quite honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the change. I thought the old nose looked really badass. It kind of reminded me of like a tiger shark, and it's cool how they had the grill insert. Now the insert would fall off at Martinsville every year, but you know, that caused like 20 debris cautions, so NASCAR's always okay with that. And but yeah, so this new one is kind of like designed in a wind tunnel where it looks like a jelly bean, and I don't think it's quite as cool looking. But it's here in iRacing now because iRacing's going for realism, and that is the latest and greatest, so that's now what's running. You know, this is comical. I haven't even left third gear. Maybe I should have worked on the ratios a little bit other than just going the baseline setup. But anyway, so yeah, let's go to the back of the car. Like I said, not much has changed besides sticker decals, but what has changed is now the much smaller spoiler, which I think that does look better, because in comparison to the current car that iRacing has been running, it's insane. Those old spoilers. It's like big spoilers, big downforce, not good racing. Small spoilers, much better racing this year. So, and not only does it have the new smaller spoiler, you can now paint it, which is why now you see it in a nice white color to match the rest of my Wood Brothers inspired paint scheme here. So, the other big change to the stock cars is happening on the inside. And now, all the stock cars, not just the Ford Fusion, have the new digital dash that the stock cars are running. And let's see if we can stop here and do a little something for you. And try not to run into the wall. And let's show that. So there she is. We'll see how, if I just keep following the yellow line, maybe I'll be okay. Oh, not that water barrel. But that is a new digital dash, which I'm going so slow now, it's giving me the dots for pit road. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of the dash I don't think a lot of the community is really looking forward to, but again, staying with the times in 2016 and matching what's actually running out there on track. So there it is. It'll be interesting to see in the future there's other different screens to play with. I didn't notice any myself. This is a pre-release build. Forgot to mention that at the top. So things are subject to change, but I think this is the only one. But yeah, there it is. I will say, surrounding the dash, I like what I'm seeing. I think the 2016 version, I love this this carbon fiber dash with the 12K ribbon toes. Sorry, I used to build this kind of stuff for a living, so I'm kind of into it. But I think it looks awesome. They really did a great job capturing the matte finish, since these dashes, they're not heavily polished. It's a pretty matte, pulled right from the mold finish, and I think iRacing did a really great job. You can really see their lighting effects being shown through here. So yes, so let me adjust this so I can actually see where in the world I am going. Oops, that's not the right one. Shift. That's the button I was looking for. So, let's find first gear again and do a burnout. Okay, so now let's talk about South Boston. So South Boston, one of the original tracks in iRacing. Anyone who has raced in iRacing, or probably will race in iRacing, you know South Boston, because it is one of the two, it might be three now, rookie tracks. There was two back in my days, South Boston and Lanier. But yeah, I love South Boston. I always really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited to see an old track like this get revamped to modern standards, because it looks way better. The asphalt has way more detail. The buildings look a lot better. It just seems like there's more stuff going on. You go drive the current edition, and it's almost kind of like, I don't know, it feels more static. Yeah, you're just seeing kind of the best of, I mean, the original track has to be now coming on 10 years old. So it was a much needed update, and I'm glad to see iRacing going back and updating these tracks, especially because, I mean, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And as I mentioned, South Boston is one of the big first impressions. When someone signs up in iRacing, they're probably going to do at least one track here, even if you're a road guy. I mean, I can see you jumping on and like, okay, let's try this oval deal. And yeah, you want to capture people and show what your product is. And you know, South Boston in the past and some of the other older tracks, I mean, they're fine tracks. They're fine in terms of laser scanning and stuff like that. But graphically, they don't really show off what iRacing can do. So I'm glad they went back and updated it. It looks great. It just looks great. I mean, there isn't too much more to say than that. Like, it's definitely a big improvement, and happy to see it's done. Well, I'm rambling here. I guess I can actually turn some real laps. But so yeah, so I think that's gonna kind of wrap up our preview of the Season 3 2016 iRacing build, as I bounced off the wall apparently. 0x. No problems. So, we kind of hit the big subjects. Imola, updated South Boston, updated Ford Fusion, Sprint Cup car. So, now I'm going to do something kind of blasphemy. I'm going to combine at least two of those three subjects and show you a lap in this Ford Fusion around Imola, because at Imola, I can get out of third gear. And that's really all I want to do right now. So, again, hope you guys enjoyed this preview of the Season 3 build. As always, please subscribe if you haven't to Inside Sim Racing. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video. And also make sure to come by our website, isrtv.com, and you can spend time in our forums. Because I don't just spend time in the iRacing forums complaining about the new NASCAR body kits or a bunch of the NASCAR paint schemes. I mean, I do that, but, you know, I'm also over in our forums. And we got lots of people over there. It's a great place, so come by. So, for John Sable, thanks for watching Inside Sim Racing. See you guys next time.